One of the best things that we've been able to do at the nature reserve so far, we've only been managing it for a few years, but we've been able to get cattle onto the marshy grasslands, and cattle are the best conservationists ever. So we were able to have 6 cattle on the marsh in the summer, and they've been grazing away at the dense Molinia. Llwyn Dewi hasn't been managed for maybe 20 years, so everything is quite overgrown and rough. So the cattle have been munching through the vegetation, breaking the vegetation up with their feet as well. And that helps wildflowers like devil's bit scabious and other wetland species just get a bit more of a foothold into the marshy grasslands. We need those cattle because we've lost the bison and the aurochs and the big herbivores that would have done that naturally. And those animals would have managed woodlands as well, so they would have opened up woodlands and trampled trees and trampled through scrub. So we've got to do that for them now, and for the other wildlife that really need those habitats. So that's what nature conservationists do. They try to find this natural balance, which is very difficult, but that's what we do, and that's why we need support, and that's why we need lots of volunteers to act as cows essentially, and to trample and to dig and to plant and all sorts. So here we've got an otter sprinting site. So we know through the cameras that we put up that we've got at least one otter, hopefully more. But this little log here by the side of the river is the perfect sprinting site, and that's a sprint is a dropping, so it's an otter dropping. But it's much more than that. It's a territory marker. So it's this otter saying, this reserve is mine, this bit of river is mine, keep out, or at certain times of year, this is mine, coming in. But we're hoping that with all the work that we're doing, more ponds and more scrub, that we're going to make it far more interesting for otters. And hopefully for a breeding female otter. So the ponds would be crucial for that, because female otters, they like eating frogs. It's a really sort of small protein pack, so when they've got young, it's just the perfect bit of food for them. So the more ponds and the more amphibians we can encourage at Llwyn Dewi Nature Reserve, the better it'll be for otters in the long run. If you get otters, it means that the river itself is doing okay, so they're an indicator. We're going to be doing a lot more work to see what they're feeding on, and throughout 2026, we'll be doing surveys here on the river, looking for different fish species and the population size, but also freshwater invertebrates as well, which are the basis of the food chain that an otter relies on. But if you've got otters, it means that something is right in the river. So the more otters we get, the better indication our rivers are doing. This is our newest pond feature for the nature reserve, and again, this has been supported by INCC, and we've been able to work with students from Bridgend College, conservation volunteers, and we had a residential at the nature reserve to dig this pond, and it's such an important habitat to have within the wetland system. So over the next couple of months we'll see amphibians, so reptiles and frogs, moving into the pond. There's already freshwater invertebrates who find the pond within sort of hours of digging really. In historical terms, ponds would have been made by animals, wild boar, bison and so on. It's important that we sort of recreate that digging of the pond. And it's also really important to allow ponds to fill in over time, so become sort of marshy areas. What you really want is lots of ponds at different stages of their lives. And if you can create those over a wider landscape, that's your best bet for supporting pond life across a landscape. From our point of view as sort of managing the nature reserve, we've got to look at the big important habitats like the marshy grassland, the woodland and the meadows. But really from a biodiversity point of view, it's all about trying to maximize those habitats and sort of increasing opportunities to create other habitats like ponds, like hedgerow stone walls, little features within larger habitats. And that means you're just catering for a lot more species and bigger populations, which then go on to feed other species as well. So it's trying to create this chain, this network of habitats and all the species that they support.